love life sucked originally. Honestly, I had really. Okay, stop that right there. We're not going in that direction at all. This is the second season of Heartbreak and Tragedy, yes, but I'm not the kid that I was when I did season one. I've grown up, I've matured, I've gotten over the past. Episode one, you're gonna hear all about that. How great I am. This series right now is just spreading awesomeness and trying to help other people where I've been. I'm in a great place, as I said. Got my childhood friends back in my life. I got my loved ones in my videos. I'm doing great, but after what I've been through, I know others have been there. And I'm going to take what I've been through and what I learned from it, being checked into the Heartbreak Hotel, to try to help others get themselves checked out and move on with their life, to share their stories and try to give them closure, and even try to confront the person who broke their heart in the first place in some cases. Well, peeps, when I started this episode, I 100% came into it knowing that I was past the last person who checked me into the Heartbreak Hotel. And I went into this interview very positive, looking to inspire you guys about how easily I was able to move on. But something very much unexpected happened well in the process of filming this episode. Something that's never happened in a scenario like this before. This is literally the end of the video. I stopped filming. I've got to film a second part about myself. Although it was only supposed to be one episode about me. But there was a moment that was very unexpected. Very real. This is extra footage that got cut out. So I'm giving you guys so I can show you guys that very real energy from myself. I was very much in disbelief. And considering what I said right before this, right before receiving a message, two messages on WhatsApp, I knew where I was going. I kind of had everything one way. My mind was set to one thing. And it just completely changed my thinking. So despite, guys, I did tell you that one episode was going to be about me. There's going to be two. And you're going to have to stay tuned to the end to actually find out why. There's two episodes about the Urban franchise. But you will enjoy the story. You'll enjoy everything. So enjoy, peeps. What is going on, peeps? Well, as you saw from the awesome intro video, this is season 2 of Heartbreak and Tragedy. Now, it's going to be completely different from the original season for those of you who actually remember it. I know the first season was ultimately me opening up and venting to you about my stories of heartbreak and tragedy. I went through everything I dealt with, how I tried to deal with it, what I learned from it, and every episode, as many as there were, I did learn a lot. Well, as I'm sure you can tell from the title of this, intro of this video, this is going to be a different theme. This episode is actually to tell you where I am in life, the goal of this series, and where we're going forward with this. Now, ultimately, what I want to do with this series is to help people. I've learned a lot from my past experiences. It's actually, anytime I'm talking to anyone and they're telling me about a situation or a relationship with what they're in, it's very easy for me to just base off of what they're talking about, grasp the situation, and be like, is this legitimate? There are certain red flags that you can ignore, but I've encountered a lot of people who've been in scenarios where it's quite obvious to anyone on the outside what has been going on. What I want to do with this series is help people, because there's a lot of people who've been in these scenarios, whether it be a one-sided relationship, a blatant user, sometimes even a clout chaser, and a lot more frequently as the times have become what they are, romance scams. I'm gonna let various people come on here and tell you their story, tell you what they've been through, their experiences, how they were hurt. Um, the reason for this ultimately is that's what helped me. Coming and how supportive you guys were. The original Heartbreak and Tragedy series, along with my anti-bullying series, was probably the most interactive series I did on the original channel. The ones that I got the most feedback, and there's fans who I still talk to till this day, despite it being filmed years ago. We've kept in touch, and I'm so grateful to have been a part of their journey of healing. So I'm looking to start that journey for various other peeps. Some will be local in Toronto, some will be overseas, some will actually be here, some will be on Zoom. But ultimately, what we're going to do is give them the option. Be a sympathetic ear to listen to what they've been through and their experiences, and try to help them and talk them through it. I know a lot of times that may have helped. Sometimes you just need one person. For me, I needed all of you out there in the YouTube universe. So I am grateful to all of you guys because you did really help me move forward in my life. I'm in a really great position. Now, on top of that factor, I have other alternative motive with this series. Now, ultimately, any of you who follow me on all my social medias, I'm pretty sure you heard what my New Year's resolution was. Ultimately, I want to make the next steps in 2025 to finish my story. My story's been a love story. It's just to find the person who is going to be part of that happy ending and starting my family with. But I also said on top of that, I want to help my brother, my younger brother, Dr. Clone, find his first relationship. He's never been on a date before. So I'm actually going to be putting out some Pacific casting calls. Well, the progression of this series goes on. I'm looking to find 5 females to go on a date with Dr. Clone. And simple fact, he's never been on a date before, so the first episode is actually going to be legitimately his first date. So whoever is the best candidate out of the 5, I'm going to throw them in there. But then again, I've kind of thought about it. Maybe I do it like speed dating style, have them all here at once. Or maybe we overwhelm the guy who's never been on a date and put like all 5 girls in one super date with him. Stay tuned. Dr. Clone is an amazing person. And the fact that he's been a single as long as he has is an absolute atrocity. But I want to be a part of him finding his happy ending. Help him finish the story as well. So yes, I'm going to finish my story. But that's not what the series is about. This series is about me helping a lot of people and ultimately helping my younger brother as well. Now, as far as my story, you guys remember I dealt with a lot of very toxic situations, one-sided relationships. And you kind of think after, doing that, going through that, I probably would have smartened up. Well, peeps, I apologize to you guys right now because I did not. 2024 was probably one of the hardest years for me emotionally. Very differently from my past, I found love. Now, you guys, any of you who recall, you know what the biggest thing for each of the heartbreak stories were. Ultimately, there were situationships I tried to hold on to. Women, fun flings, Back then when I was younger, I was looking for fun women. Wanted to try things. When I found fun women that were into things I never tried or things I really liked, I'd want to keep them around, and I end up getting hurt. I was very much typical male in my youth. Most of those stories were from my 20s. Now I'm a grown, mature man. Obviously, that's not what it's about right now. It's about finding the right vibe with someone, finding someone who I could see my future with. Obviously, in the past, I was not seeing my future with. Um, you could almost say in the past, I was more or less looking for women who just had talent and mouths or other various tricks. But at this point in my life, I was looking for someone who I could see myself being happy. Someone who it wasn't just about one thing. Just being around them made me happy. Their company is like, I've always been that type of person who gets annoyed by people very easily. I've always been that type of person who, being in scenarios, it's just like, yeah, can you go away now? Or if I'm around someone too much. But this is like the first time I met someone who I never got annoyed. The vibe was different. Like the way they talked to me was so different. Like what we had was so special. Yeah, it's just like any of you who know me know I have issues sometimes with the way people talk to me. This person always knew how to talk to me. Speaking to her was always amazing. Text messages was weird. Sometimes text messages kind of got confusing between us, or some things came off the wrong way. But when we're in person, when we're with each other, we always had this chemistry from when we first met. I never had with any. I just like naturally clicked. Like honestly, when I first met them, I felt like there was someone from my past who just popped up, and I forgot them, and I felt like this is someone who I've known forever. I don't even know how to describe it. There was something so familiar about their energy, just the vibe, the connection that we have. It was just like weird. I've never had that with a person before, where this woman, all our years of life, we've never met each other. Even from when we first met, just side by side, it was just so natural. It was just like it was meant to be. You know what I mean? And I did something because there's a point where I realized I was interested in her. But I know that I have such a history, obviously, with the previous seasons. I decided before I pursued a relationship with her, I was going to go and make things right with everyone from my past. So a little under 3 years ago, anyone and everyone from my past who I may have hurted or may have left things not on the best as far as relationships go, I reconnected with. I wanted to ensure that when I pursued things with this woman, that we would not have to deal with anything from my past. And all my drama and everything was back. And the simple fact of the matter, I felt that I was just giving these women from my past closure, but ultimately I found from a few situations, 2 to be exact, I needed some closure from it. And I got that. I'm grateful I got that. And it was just like I did not see her for a while. I spent several months doing this, and then I came back, see her again, and it was kind of one of those moments where it's like you don't act when you feel it, and you do what you feel is right. You get burned. She wasn't single anymore. But the simple fact of the matter, there was something so special about her. The time I was gonna see her and I found that out, it was just like I could have just not went, but I was just like, I don't care. You know what? I'm happy for her because I had a certain care for caring for her that I haven't had for anyone else. So I was just like, let me see her one more time. I gotta see her one more time. And then when I went and I saw her that last time, it was just like, that can't be the last time. I need to see her again. It was such a deep, deep connection with her. Now, I kind of, within the time of knowing her, I've kind of gotten to learn a lot about myself and expand upon my spiritual horizon. I've learned about having multiple soulmates, and not every soulmate that you have is meant to per se be a relationship. I feel she's someone who's meant to be in my life. Like, words can't describe the way things feel when I'm with her. No one's ever made me feel that way. A sense of complete, a sense of happiness. I tend to be an over panicker at times. But anytime with her where it'd be a situation where I would do that, it's just like there's a certain calm over me no matter what the scenario. And I'm able to handle it. Things can completely go wrong, but I was able to solve it. There was just like this energy between us. And knowing that there is like multiple soulmates for you out there, just after meeting her, it let me know what I want, who I want. It let me know the vibe, the energy, because it's just like, it's not just as simple as, oh, she's sexy, I want her, blah, blah, blah. She is sexy. I do want her, blah, blah, blah. But she has such an amazing personality. She was so cool. Even the simplest things, the littlest things she did, she just was so cool. And I'll just like, always want to smile when I see her. I'm like, the way she could light up a room, it's amazing. She was just someone amazing to be around. The simple fact of the matter is the way people describe being around me is the way I feel being around her. And I think that's what it was. But ultimately, it didn't work out. I thought she was my happy ending. Certain things were opened up and seen some things, was told some things. I was able to let go. And it's weird because I felt more for her than anyone from my past. It was so deep and was so pure. Unlike the times in the past of those toxic situations, I was able to walk away. And it was just like, I actually told her this. You deserve what I bring to the table more than anyone else. I want to give you more than I've ever given anyone else. I gave so much to so many others. I want to give you that and more. But ultimately, you got to do what's right. And I want to finish the story. So, I let go. And doing that in the past, attempting to do that in the past, destroyed me. But every time I've done it in the past, because I wanted to. This was the first time I've done it where I didn't want to do it. But I was able to. Which shows so much growth from the person in those original episodes who talked about what he went through and not being able to let go. Ladies and gentlemen, I love myself. I deserve to be with someone who loves me, that I love. That wasn't the case. I won't lie to you. I haven't heard from her from like almost 2 months, and if she was to text me right now, I couldn't let myself have a conversation with her. As much as I would want to have a conversation with her, I know how in love I am with her stuff. But for me to truly move forward and move on with my life, even if she was to actually text me, I would have to not even entertain a conversation. If I had a conversation with her, I'm going to try to see her. And if I try to see her, um, it could lead one way, you know? And I had the strength to walk away. And I don't want to ruin all that work. I've dated multiple women since then. It just, the vibe wasn't there. When you meet the person that is exactly what you want, who is your perfect definition of a person in every way, it is hard to move on. So, well suited in the episode, she texted me. First time she texted me in over a month. I didn't know how to handle it. I was actually a bit in shock after getting that text. We haven't talked in a while, and I just kind of thought it was done. I was lost on how to react. I literally just said if she texted me, I would not be able to have a conversation. And the thing is, I actually thought, well, shooting this episode, it was only going to be one episode, and maybe just a brief segment where I talk about me and her. But this, I kind of saw as a sign, you know? And I did just say, if she texts me, I got to avoid the conversation because I'm going to try to see her. So it just left me with one option, but to make you guys wait until next week to find out what happened next. Do I see her, or do I stay true to what I said? Do I not see her, not have a conversation with her, and stay and avoid it? I know it's not best for me. I know it took a lot of strength to walk away the first time. What am I going to do, peeps? Well, there's only one way to actually truly find out. And that's just tune in next week for the next edition of Heartbreak and Tragedy, Season 2. Stay good and keep it.